One of the more common problems I deal with in my practice is lack of follow-through or commitment to a cause. Take exercise, for instance. Most people have had the experience of starting off strong in an exercise program only to eventually find themselves skipping workouts. At first it's every now and again, and then it becomes a string of skipped workouts that ultimately lead to stopping altogether. A slow, methodical, predictable fade to black. Recently, I was working with a client who described this as his problem, especially when it comes to exercising. As he described it, I start off strong, but then all of a sudden something comes up. I miss a day or two for whatever reason, and then before I know it, I'm back to not working out at all. So I was interested in finding out if he knew why this happened. So I asked him what he thought. He thought about it for a minute and gave me this answer. When I'm going strong and then I miss a workout, I feel like I've let myself down. I get this sense of feeling like a failure. Then I start thinking, it's easier for me to just quit. Quitting seems better than failing. Now, he was quick to add that he knew this wasn't a good way to be thinking, but that's what he does. Now, at this point, my client has started off strong, and he is still going strong. And my primary goal is to keep him going strong, this time for good. So I want to be thinking ahead. Not right now, not exploring the pattern right now, but exploring the patterns of thinking that ultimately lead to quitting. It is not time to celebrate the success of starting off strong and hoping for a better result this time. It's time to look forward to identify the usual thought processes that precipitate that usual fade to black and get going on new thought processes now to preempt any event, situation, or thought pattern that normally takes him out of the game. We have to get those in place now while the going is good. But first, a bit about brain function. To answer my question, the one I posed to my client about why he thought this typical fade to black happened, I translated his thought process into neurobiological terms. He described the thoughts that occurred, and I proceeded to explain to him why they were occurring. You see, the human brain has really no use for exercising, period. We're not genetically wired to burn fuel for no good reason. To catch some food or to get away from a predator? We're wired to gladly burn fuel for those reasons, but not to lift some dead weight in the air or run a distance simply just to do it. That's just plain idiotic, at least to the part of our brain known as the limbic system. Deep in the heart of the brain are two almond-sized, almond-shaped structures known as the amygdalae. They are part of the brain system that's responsible for processing pain and pleasure and fear. That system is responsible for making sure that we avoid things that are painful and harmful, and we participate in things that are pleasurable. It's also responsible for making sure that we don't spend any precious fuel reserves, also known as body fat, unless there's a darn good reason for doing so. So when it comes to exercising, we come pre-wired to think, are you kidding me? No thanks. It's not pleasurable, makes no sense, no thank you. The reason that we can start off strong in an exercise program is that we do have another part of our brain, the cerebral cortex, that has the ability to override the limbic system temporarily. The cerebral cortex is huge by way of comparison, roughly 50 times larger than the tiny amygdalae. But the tiny amygdalae, they are strong and fast. The cerebral cortex is slower and weaker, and that's really by design. The brain is masterfully engineered to work this way, and actually it works quite well. With our thinking, logical, rational cortex, we can make the decision to start an exercise program, with all of the carefully thought out reasons for doing so. When starting off strong, these thoughts appear to be fully in control, overriding the thoughts that are being pumped out by the amygdala. This exercising thing sucks. It's uncomfortable. Save your energy. Save your fuel. Rest. Sleep. Do nothing. If we listen carefully, we can clearly hear the amygdala launching these anti-exercising thoughts left and right. For a period of time, we can ignore the amygdala just long enough to get to the gym and get things done. But the amygdala is relentless in its pursuit of pleasure, and eventually it gains the upper hand. A day gets missed because we're sick or too busy, and the amygdala jumps right back into the driver's seat, exploiting the opportunity to launch some of its own anti-exercise thoughts like, you know what? You have let yourself down. You have failed. No point in restarting. Just quit already.